Imagine this. You stumble upon a body wrapped in, well, a discarded tarp. A life just extinguished, but completely unknown.
Nameless.
Exactly. And for decades, this young woman was simply a Jane Doe in a Kentucky ditch.
Yeah.
It's a chilling idea, isn't it? Anonymity in death.
It really is. And it raises the question, what makes someone, just an ordinary person, step into that kind of darkness?
That's really what we're diving into today. We've got three pretty distinct cases where everyday people, they just felt this need for resolution. They refused to let these mysteries lie quiet.
They wouldn't accept the silence.
So prepare yourself. These stories really highlight the profound power of just one person deciding to act.
And what's so striking is, the contrast. You have the
yeah.
official systems, the police, the courts, and then you have these individuals. Their motivations are often deeply personal, sometimes unexpected.
Yeah, it's not always about the system failing, necessarily.
Not always, no. Sometimes it's just the limits, right? The sheer complexity of a case, or maybe just the volume of information can overwhelm even the best systems.
Okay, so let's get into that first story. It's one that honestly stuck with me. The case of the so-called tent girl.
That name itself is haunting.
It is. So May 1968, near Georgetown, Kentucky. A guy is out looking for old bottles, things people tossed away.
A bottle hunter, yeah.
And he finds us. Well, he finds the body, wrapped in a tarp. Young woman, dark hair. But no ID, nothing. And no missing persons reports seem to match. Not initially, anyway.
Right, and the media jumps on it.
They do, with that label that just sticks. Tent girl. And for decades, that's all she was, an unknown victim. A cold case statistic.
And that lack of identification back then, it really highlights the challenges they face. We rely so much on digital databases now, interconnected systems.
They live a different world?
Completely. Back then, it was fragmented records, paper files, maybe pure chance if a connection was made. And the fact that apparently no one was actively looking for her.
That's the part that gets you, isn't it?
It adds this layer of tragedy, this isolation, makes you wonder about the circumstances that lead to someone just vanishing like that.
So, fast forward. We're in the 1990s now. And this is where Todd Matthews comes in.
Okay.
Now, Todd wasn't a cop. He wasn't a detective. He worked in a factory. No formal training in this stuff at all.
But he had a connection.
He did, a personal one. His father-in-law. He was the bottle hunter, the one who found her back in '68.
Oh, okay. So it was family lore, in a way.
Sort of. But it became more than that for Todd. He came across the case details online, on the early internet.
Right, the dial-up days, the forums.
Exactly. And the details just haunted him. This unidentified woman, buried without a name, maybe her family out there somewhere, completely unaware, it got under his skin.
You see that a lot with these citizen investigators. It becomes more than just a puzzle. It's like a mission, to give back an identity, a sense of dignity.
Yeah, absolutely. That anonymity feels like a wrong that needs righting.
A fundamental injustice.
So Todd, this factory worker, starts digging online. Remember, this is the early internet, message boards, rudimentary search stuff.
A digital Wild West, almost.
Pretty much. He spends years searching these early missing persons sites, emailing strangers, just chasing down any tiny possibility, any connection, however remote. Things the police hadn't managed in 30 years.
That's incredible persistence, and it shows the power of, decentralized information, doesn't it? People collaborating outside the official channels.
He wasn't bound by jurisdiction or red tape.
No, just pure personal commitment, a kind of digital needle-in-a-haystack search. It makes you think about how unconventional methods can sometimes crack these really tough nuts.
And then finally, 1998, after all that searching, he gets a hit. A post online.
The breakthrough.
Yeah. A woman named Rosemary Westbrook. She's looking for her sister who vanished years ago, Barbara Ann Hackman Taylor.
And the details matched.
The timeline, the physical description, it all lined up with what little they knew about Tent Girl. Can you imagine that moment, finding that post?
After years of searching, must have been incredible. That one piece of information floating out there on the early web, holding the key.
It really shows how vital clues can just pop up from unexpected places, doesn't it? Connecting dots decades apart.
Absolutely. It speaks to the nature of information itself, how it can bridge these huge gaps in time and knowledge.
And then the final step, DNA. They managed to get confirmation.
Wow.
Tent Girl wasn't Tent Girl anymore. She was Barbara Ann Hackman Taylor. She was only 24.
24, so young.
It's remarkable. A factory worker using the early internet gives a name back to a victim, brings some measure of closure after decades. It's all about his dedication.
It really is. A powerful reminder that time passing doesn't mean a case should be forgotten, and that ordinary citizens can play these extraordinary roles. Todd Matthews refused to let her be forgotten.
What does that say about, citizen-led justice or remembrance?
It suggests there's a deep societal need for resolution, and sometimes individuals outside the system are uniquely positioned to achieve it, perhaps because of that personal drive.
Okay, let's shift now. A very different kind of case, but just as compelling. The story of Valentino Dixon, sometimes called the man who drew his way out of prison.
Right, a wrongful conviction case.
Exactly. 1991, Buffalo, New York. A young man, Toriano Jackson, is murdered. Valentino Dixon gets arrested, convicted, life sentence.
Despite always saying he was innocent.
Consistently, vehemently. Imagine that, spending decades locked up for something you swear you didn't do. The psychological weight of that.
It's almost
He'd never played golf. Never even been on a golf course.
astonishing.
But creating these scenes, these peaceful landscapes, it was his escape. His way of finding some kind of peace inside prison walls.
Smart as a coping mechanism, right? A way to maintain humanity, a sense of self, in a place designed to strip it away. Those drawings were probably his mental sanctuary.
Shows the resilience, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Finding refuge in unexpected ways.
And then another ordinary person enters the picture, completely disconnected from the case. Initially, Max Adler, a writer for Golf Digest.
Golf Digest. Okay, that's unexpected.
Right. Somehow, one of Dixon's drawings ends up on Adler's desk. And he's intrigued, understandably, golf art from a man serving life for murder.
That juxtaposition would definitely grab your attention.
So Adler's curiosity is piqued. He starts looking into Dixon's case.
And that's often how these things start, isn't it? Serendipity, a chance connection, someone acting on their curiosity. Adler brought a completely fresh set of eyes.
Coming from the world of golf, not crime reporting.
Exactly. Unburdened by the original investigation's assumptions. Sometimes that outside perspective is crucial.
And what Adler found? It was disturbing. The case against Dixon, it was flimsy. Really flimsy.
Oh, so?
Well, key witnesses had changed their stories significantly. The ballistics evidence wasn't definitive, didn't conclusively link Dixon, and maybe the most shocking part.
Go on.
Someone else had confessed to the murder shortly after Dixon was arrested.
What? A confession was ignored.
Ignored. Dismissed. It's infuriating when you hear that. Makes you question everything about the initial investigation.
It really does. Dismissing a confession. That suggests potentially a rush to judgment or just a failure to follow every lead properly. Serious systemic questions there.
So Adler writes this article for Golf Digest laying out his findings. And that article, it becomes the turning point.
It got attention?
Big attention. It reached Georgetown University's Prison Reform Project. Law students there took on the case, dug even deeper.
Pro bono work using their legal skills.
They found more evidence, stuff supporting Dixon's innocence. And finally, 2018, after 27 years,
27 years.
Valentino Dixon was exonerated, released. And it all traces back to a drawing of a golf course and strangers who wouldn't let it go.
It's an incredible story. It highlights the power of investigative journalism, the importance of innocence projects and pro bono work.
And just the strength of one man holding on to hope through art.
Absolutely. And the need for the justice system to constantly reevaluate, to admit mistakes.
Okay, third case. This one's more recent and, frankly, more unsettling in some ways. Luca Magnotta.
Ah, yes. The internet played a huge role here.
A massive role. It started back in 2010. A video surfaced online. Truly horrible stuff. A guy killing kittens in a vacuum-sealed bag.
It's just sickening, the kind of cruelty that rightly sparks outrage.
And it did. Immediate, widespread outrage online. People were horrified.
The internet can be, a double-edged sword, but here it acted as this massive signal flare for abhorrent behavior, a collective moral revulsion.
And it wasn't passive anger. People got organized. A Facebook group formed called, chillingly, Find the Vacuum Kitten Killer.
Just ordinary people.
Ordinary people. Animal lovers, mostly. But they became these amateur online detectives. They dissected that awful video, frame by frame.
Looking for clues.
Tiny details. A specific yellow blanket in the background. A poster on the wall. Even the exact model of the vacuum cleaner.
Wow, that's meticulous. Crowdsourcing detective work, essentially.
Exactly. Pooling their observations, their attention to detail. They started building a profile from these tiny clues.
Leveraging that collective intelligence you find online.
Eventually, they zeroed in on a name. Luca Rocco Magnotta, a Canadian model, someone with a significant online presence already.
And a thirst for attention, it turned out.
A deeply disturbing thirst, because in 2012, things escalated horrifically.
The murder of Jin Lin.
Yes. Magnotta murdered Jinlin, a student in Montreal, dismembered him, and filmed it. Posted that online, too. And mailed body parts to political offices.
Just pure horror. And broadcasting it like that speaks volumes about the narcissistic drive for infamy. A complete void of empathy.
But here's the crucial part.
Yeah.
Because of that Facebook group, because of their work on the kitten video,
The police already knew about him.
they were already on his trail. Those online investigators had done the groundwork. They had identified him, they'd tracked IP addresses, found possible hotels he'd used, alerted authorities internationally. Their early work was critical.
So the online community's efforts directly aided the official investigation. That's a powerful example of how fast information can move online and how it can accelerate things.
Absolutely. Especially with someone like Magnotta, who left such a huge digital footprint.
It does raise questions, though, about the line between online sleuthing and vigilantism, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It's a complex area. But in this case, their actions undeniably helped law enforcement.
No question. They provided actionable intelligence.
And Magnotta,
Yeah.
he was eventually caught in Berlin at an internet cafe,
Get this.
reading news stories about himself.
Unbelievable. The narcissism right to the end.
The whole story is covered in that documentary, Don't F with Cats.
Mm.
It's a stark look at how ordinary people, disgusted by what they saw online, refused to look away and played a key role in stopping a killer.
It really highlights this evolving landscape of crime and investigation in the digital age. The complex, sometimes fraught, but potentially powerful relationship between online communities and law enforcement.
So you look at these three stories, Tet Girl, Valentino Dixon, Luca Magnotta. So different, right?
Very different circumstances, yes.
But that common thread is just so clear. The impact of everyday people. People who just refuse to be passive bystanders when faced with injustice or just.
Yeah.
The unknown.
Factory workers, writers, artists, animal lovers online. Not the typical image of a crime solver.
Not at all. They were driven by curiosity, by persistence, by that basic sense of right and wrong. And they got results, often where the official systems had stalled.
It proves that the desire for truth, for justice, it isn't exclusive to professionals in the field. It resides in anyone who's willing to look closer, ask the hard questions, and just keep going.
That fundamental human drive for answers, for fairness.
Exactly.
And it really leaves you with a powerful thought, doesn't it? These stories show that potential for change can come from anywhere, anyone.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah. What other mysteries, what other injustices are out there right now just waiting for an ordinary stranger to step up and make that extraordinary difference? It's something to think about.